Hello, viewers. Good afternoon and welcome to today's edition of Conversations on the Akpan Townhall online television. We are privileged to have a special guest, an upwardly moving young man who has distinguished himself very clearly in the way he has started his life as a go-getter and as a success uh, umpire, as someone to watch. Peter Justin Akpan, ACA, on the Akpan Townhall online television. We welcome you and want you to join us as we have this conversation today to inspire and to help the rising generations of Africa to do better in their lives. My name is Francis Imeribe, and I'm your anchorman. Being focused in life is the most critical element for the attainment of success. We are in a world today when being focused has eluded the rising generations of Africa, making them vulnerable to manipulation by a rogue ruling class. At African Townhall Online Television, we genuinely fear for the future of the youth of Africa and came up with an idea to help them access personal development, personal empowerment, and the capacity to midwife the African Renaissance. In our efforts to help the rising generations of Africa, we created Townhall Communication Company Limited and programs and projects such as Project 30 Before 30 International, which is about 30 goals young people should set and work to achieve before they turn 30 years of age. The African Townhall Online Television is aimed at giving voice to the rising generations of Africa so they can speak up, take up their rightful place in the scheme of things, and the African Townhall Online eBook Club is also set up to encourage the reading culture among African youth, to remove the ugly narrative that if you want to hide something from an African, you put it inside a book because Africans don't read. One of the programs we have created is Conversations on the African Townhall Online Television. We are pleased to have Peter Justin Akpan, ACA, as our guest today on Conversations. Peter, welcome to our studios. Okay, while we wait for Peter to unmute himself and arrive the studios properly, let me tell you a little bit about Peter, the man you are going to hear from today. Peter graduated first class bachelor's degree in accounting from the University of Calabar. He qualified as a chartered accountant of the prestigious Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, ICANN, in January 2019 at the age of 18. I want you to watch, at the age of 18, having been a 2 times award winner of the Institute. Peter Justin Akpan, the 2019 award-winning chartered accountant, is also a student member of the Chartered Financial Analyst Institute, USA, and has passed level 1 of the international CFA exams with a view of becoming a chartered financial analyst. He He currently works as a deal advisory intern with one of the world's big four accounting firms, KPMG. Before joining KPMG in January 2021, Peter has coached and mentored over 200 students in becoming chartered accountants. I mean, this is so much in a short space of one's life. And this gives out so much of who you are about to hear from today in this program, Conversations. So, viewers, we invite you to join us in today's episode of Conversations on African Townhall Online Television with Peter Johnson Akpan by asking questions, making comments, and liking the program. Your participation would help your friends, family, and contacts to see the program and join you to enjoy the benefits. We invite you to remember to like, comment, share, ask questions, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, The African Town Hall. Your questions will be answered by Mr. Akpan at some point in this broadcast today. So it is now my pleasure to welcome Peter Justin Akpan to our studios.
Thank you very, very much, sir. It's a great pleasure and privilege to be here. How are you doing, sir?
Oh, very well. Thank you very much. It's a pop and
Thank
pleasing
you.
pleasure for me to have you. I mean, because you
Thank you, sir.
represent the wonder of the new generations of Africa that I have been praying and hoping for. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity, Peter.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so let's hit off in this program today by doing this. Um, your credentials are all inspiring for a young person who just turned or is about to turn 20 years of age. What is your story? What inspires you? What drives you? Can you help us with this, Peter?
All right. Being the first question, what's my story? My story is pretty short. Given that I'm pretty young, I'm 20 years old, by the way. So basically, at the age of I think 7 or 8, I've had a discussion with my mom. She was discussing something with my sister about something related to a bank. So I'm just trying to give a background to my story. And now know I evolved into the field that I'm currently in. So at that age, I had my mom had a discussion with my sister, and they were discussing something related to the bank. And then I heard them mention the word accountant. And at that age, I think that was the very first time I heard about the word accountant. And I was curious. So I asked my mom, what does accountant mean? Who is an accountant? And then at that time, my mom just told me that an accountant is someone who pays salaries. An accountant is someone who pays salaries. That's what she told me. I was astonished at that definition. Someone who pays salaries in an organization. So I was of the opinion at that time and for someone who is an accountant to be paying other people who are working in that same organization salary. So he or she must have also paid him herself very, very well before he or she decides to pay other people. That was just the background to accounting at that time. So I decided from that point, okay, I would love to be an accountant so I could pay people salaries and of course pay myself very well. So that's how I got into the field of accounting. I don't really remember exactly, but I think I was 7 years old then, and I was in primary, I think 1 or 2, and then getting into secondary school, I just carried along with that mindset. So I'm going to become an accountant. I'm going to study accounting in university, and I'm going to become an accountant. So that I'm going to pay people salaries. So throughout junior secondary school, I really liked business-related studies, like business studies, accounting or finance-related subjects, and all of that. And I think probably because of that mindset, that I'm going to be an accountant in the future, I didn't really find science subjects interesting. Subject like business science, I didn't even like it at all. I was even wondering, why am I doing this subject? have to know it. But then I still struggle to, understand them and pass them. And I still performed like among the best in junior secondary school at that time. So getting into senior secondary school, I was happy. Okay, now I'm going to be focusing on finance related subjects or commercial subjects, so that I'm going to study accounting in university. But then I had an issue in SS1. The issue was that biology then was compulsory. So even as a commercial student, I still had to do biology, and then it was very painful. But then thankfully, when I got into SS2, biology became optional for non-science students. So I dropped it immediately and focused on my commercial subject, financial accounting, commerce, and economics. So upon graduation, by God's grace, I graduated as the best commercial student. When I was filling my jam form, there was nothing to think about. Straight, I'm doing accounting. That has always been the goal. That has always been the vision. So in my jam form, that time I graduated at the age of 15 from secondary school. So I wrote why I called the exams. People write at that stage, and then thankfully I got admitted into university. When I was in secondary school. When I was in secondary school, I heard about ICANN, the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria. I knew, okay, for someone to get to the top in the field of accounting, that person must be or should be a chartered accountant. So I heard about it then in secondary school, but then I wasn't so sure of how to go about it. My thought was that probably when I graduate from school, after BSc, that's when I'll now do ICANN to become a chartered accountant. That was my thought then. So on getting into the university in my 100 level, a tuition center close to my school came to our class. We were accounting students, so they came to us and then told us about ICANN, the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, that it's very good to become a chartered accountant. It's not just about having BS in accounting, you have to be a professional, all of that. And then they told us there's another medium or means in being a chartered accountant apart from having only BSc in accounting. And then that's when they introduced us into the accounting technician scheme West Africa, which has 3 stages of exams. That after writing the exams, and passing the exams, you're now qualified to the main ICANN exams, even without having BSc. And then the requirement to start this program, this accounting technician scheme West Africa, we call it ASWA, is just WAEC. So if you have your WAEC, you could just start the program, and then once you pass the 3 stages, it should take about 18 months, you get to do ICANN. And then they also told us that program will help us in school because it's accounting related and I'm studying accounting. So you find schoolwork easy. I was very interested in it because at that time I was 15, getting to 16. If I could finish this program in 18 months and then start the main ICANN program, which is 1 year, and I pass all the exams and I don't skip any exam, I would get qualified very early, even before I thought, the time I'd imagined I'm going to get qualified. But then the problem that time was finance, because of course to do a BSc in accounting, you have to spend money, and then I'm now doing another program at the same time. I'm going to still spend money, and this is provisional exam, so it's quite costly to take so much money from me. So I was kind of afraid to tell my parents because they have other obligations, the other children they have to cater for. So why is it just me? And then my parents will be paying for 2 programs at the same time. But then I just summoned courage and told them, okay, this is what they told us in school, ICANN, all of that. If I do it, I can get chartered, before graduating from school, all of that. Thankfully to God, they accepted because they knew it's going to be something that would help me in school and also help me in the future. So they agreed to, fund the program. And then I started. I started level 1. By God's grace, at the end of level 1, I won an international award from the association, which is the Association of Accounting Boys West Africa. When I won the award, my parents are very proud. It even motivated them to continue paying, the fees for the ICANN program, all of that. I did ATS2. I did ATS3, ATS1, 2, and 3 are the 3 stages in the initial program, which is the accounting technician scheme West Africa. At the end of ATS3, which is the last stage for the first ICANN, I won another award again. And then at that time I was 17, and then that was the end of my 200 level in school. So I was combining both programs, and school. It was very stressful though. Leaving the house by 7, for classes in university up to 5 p.m. and then from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. sometimes 9 p.m. I have to stay back for, or I have to go for ICANN lectures and all of that. So it was quite stressful, but then thank God I scaled through. So after that third stage, I was now qualified to do the main ICANN program even without having BSc. So I started the program. It was just 2 stages for 1 year, but of course it's tougher than the initial 3 stages. So by God's grace, I passed both stages, and qualified in January 2019 at the age of 18. So at the age of 18, I became, or I qualified as a chartered accountant of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria. It was a very, very big thing for me then, because it was something I dreamt about, it was something I was looking forward to, and all of that. And then I think my very first level, when I was preparing for the exams, I came across a journal or a magazine that was published by the Institute of Chartered Accountants in Nigeria. And then in the cover page was about a woman who is working in one of the big four PwC, how she got chartered at the age of 21. She got chartered at the age of 21. And then the journal or magazine was discussing about her and then telling the world about the opportunities. The woman was kind of an interview. So the woman was telling the world about the opportunities. She had certificate open to her at that early age of 21, and I was inspired and encouraged. And I was telling myself, this is a magazine. Someone got chartered at 21. There's a very, very high possibility of me getting chartered at the age of 18, 3 years, before 21. It was a very, very big thing for me at that time. But then I wasn't so sure if I was going to, achieve it, because mainly finance. I knew if there will be anything that will not make me achieve this feat, to be finance. But then I prayed to God about it, and I was happy. At the end, I got chartered at the age of 18. So that was the end of my 300 level. And then in my final year, I started immediately. I wrote my final papers in ICANN. I started tutoring. I stayed back, or I was retained in my ICANN tuition center. I started teaching and tutoring other young persons, in becoming chartered accountants. So I did that throughout my final year, which was 2019, the whole of 2019. I did that in my final year. And then at the end of my final year, I heard about CFA, Charter Financial Analyst Institute. That is a global professional body for finance. And then if you want to really be at the top of your finance career, it's really good to do the CFA program. But then I was kind of skeptical about it. I've just passed through hell. Let me call like an hell, because it was truly hell. I've just passed through hell. I've passed through 5 rigorous stages with professional exams. And then I'm chartered. I'm just graduating from school. My initial plan was, okay, let me just rest, and then recover the fund spending so far by working, all of that. But then I had a very close friend, God bless him. He inspired me and motivated me that there's still more to achieve. It's not in life, life or accounting or finance, not just being chartered, having BSc, and I think you're okay. They should still push further and aim for more things that will help you in the future. So thankfully, the CFA Institute, being the headquarters in USA, they pay the exams in dollars. So the fee compared to the Nigerian naira is very costly, but then they have scholarships they give out to people who do not have funds. So I applied for the scholarship. Although looking at it, it's a global body. I didn't really think I was qualified to have the scholarship. So I just reluctantly applied for the scholarship, but then thankfully I got the scholarship, and then I started the CFA exams. I got the scholarship at the end of my final year. So I started the CFA exams, and then throughout 2020, I was supposed to have written the exams in 2020, June 2020, but because of the pandemic was shifted to December. So I forgot to mention at the end of my final, if I graduated first class in accounting. Throughout 2020, I was supposed to have written the CFA level 1 exams in June, but then it got postponed to December. It kind of demoralized me, but then I really thank God because I had more time to read, because the syllabus is quite good. So I did an audit internship, first where I resided, and then once I decided to stop the internship and focus my CFA exams. And then I started building relationships and with the partners and the big people in KPMG, which is one of the biggest big 4 accounting firms in the world. So I started building relationships with them because I wanted to do an internship in KPMG and gain that great corporate world experience. So as I was reading for my CFA exams, I was also trying to build relationship via LinkedIn. That was the media or the medium I used in getting this relationship. So I tried creating, reaching out to people, trying to create good relationship with them so that when I'm ready for internship, it will be easy for me to get into KPMG. So when I finished my CFA exams, sorry, can you still hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead. Yes, yes.
All right. That's when I wrote the exams. After writing exams, I now reached out to one of the partners and discussed my interest in interning with KPMG. And by God's grace, she accepted me, and then that's why I got into KPMG. But before getting into KPMG, just like I said, I did an internship with an audit firm, and then when I was in school, apart from my ICANN program, especially my final year, when I had done with ICANN, I'd gotten myself into so many other things like ISEC, student investment society and all of that, just to build myself personally and then get to meet more people and then what is it called, get more knowledge. So basically that's my story so far. So I'm currently 20. I'm a chartered accountant, first class graduate of accounting. I'm a deal advisory intern of KPMG. So yeah, that's basically my story. So the other part of the question, say what inspires me and what's my drive. Well, basically I feel by God's grace I have found a natural spirit of competition. I've never allowed my age be a barrier to my success. Throughout high school up to the university, I was the youngest in my class, but at the same time, I was the best performer. So I always strive as much as possible to be the best in whatsoever I do. And then another thing that has been a very big inspiration and motivation for me are my parents. My parents have done so much, in terms of finance, prayer, support, and all of them. They have been very, very supportive. So I've tried my possible best to make sure I make them very, very proud, for all what they have done for me. So anytime I put my head into doing something, I always remember my parents. My parents need to be proud of me because they have done so much for me. So making my parents proud, that natural drive to, be the best in whatsoever I can be has been a major drive for me. So that's it.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Justin, you were saying as if it is not a big deal. I want to tell you that this is a big deal. Big deal to be a chartered accountant at the age of 18. It's a big deal. And all that you did, I feel inspired myself and start thinking about things. I expect that young people will begin to think otherwise with what you have done. Thank you very much for being who you are, for fighting the fight you have fought and bringing forward so much. And being able to be with us here on the African Town Hall Online Television, I know that your life is going to inspire others. So thank you very much. Following up on that, um, I took a look at your profile on LinkedIn, and I saw that you've been involved in many activities, both online and offline, improving yourself, several volunteer work, internships. You mentioned a number of them. One commenter, this is the question I want to ask you. One of the people that commented on your profile, on your write up, said um, whether it was Godfathers that were propelling you. He made that comment. Then when I read that, I actually laughed and said, hmm. And then, so the first thing I want you to do right now is to share with us the different activities you participated in, the ones you can forget the ones you've already mentioned, but the new ones, like, I heard about Yale Africa, Yale. Let's see about those kind of things. Then after that, you let us know if it is the Godfathers that have propelled you or what.
All right, thank you, sir. So, about the activities, they have not been so much though. But then, if you look at my LinkedIn profile, you think there's so much, but then they're not so much. Basically, when from my 100 level to 300 level, where I was in school, I was just concentrating on school and my account program because it was really, really time consuming. So, after my 300 level, when I got chartered, I felt okay, I've really done well academically or professionally, but then I have to get myself engaged in so many other things and start building network and get to meet people and also get to know what life is all about. Because it's not just about going to school, getting qualifications and all of that. There is more to life and than all of that. So I tried to, get myself involved in so many NGOs and societies and the rest. So I've mentioned a few already though. So I always like to mention how I started teaching, reaching out to young persons, mentoring them, and then giving them the motivation they need to also become young chartered accountants like me. And then I also mentioned the investment society of my school. I've mentioned that already. And then there is this global NGO called ISEC. I also joined them, and got to get good experience too from them. And then yearly, although yearly is both physical and then they also have online presence. For their physical presence, I didn't really have time to join them, so I just became a member, online member, and then followed up with their activities. I think that's basically it for while I was still in final year the university. But then I also had other virtual internships with other big firms. So with respect to godfatherism, I also saw a comment somewhere else, not really my post, but then people got to share my post and all of that. So I saw a comment, and then I think the person was asking whether I had parents or people who were pushing buttons for me and all of that. And I said no. Not at all. My father is a retired medical lab scientist. He worked with the government, University of Calabar precisely, and then my mom, although she is a lawyer, but then she took to trading later on in life. I didn't have anyone at all, even as a mentor. I didn't have while I was in school. I didn't have any godfather. I didn't have anyone to say, okay, this is Peter, he has to be here, he has to be that. I know I didn't have anyone at all. I feel what has brought me to where I am today is God, and then getting information at the right time. Yeah, getting information at the right time. I had people, who had information, friends, not just people, friends, my classmates or even seniors who were in the same department with me. So I got to know about information. There's a program called That's Why You Can Do This and get chartered early and all of that. And then as a result of my ICANN program, I used to come to, I lived in Calabar most of my life. And I used to come to Lagos for induction, award ceremonies, and all of that. So I got to connect with people in Lagos. And of course, when you connect with people in other places, you get to know more about those places. So I got to know about the firms in Lagos, especially KPMG and the rest and all of that. And then my dream to work in one of the big four. So I didn't have anyone who would, take me there. And just like I said earlier, after I finished school, I started building relationship with this.
Okay, let me say. Are you still there? Okay, it seems Peter's connection at Peter's angle is having an issue. I don't know if that is the correct position, but in case that is, I think we need to note one thing that he has said that I consider very powerful, which is that he went about seeking for information. Information is key. Information. First, he had a dream. He was looking forward to a lot of stuff, a lot of things, and then he sought for information on how to access what he was looking for, and he was able to get all of those. We are waiting and expecting that in due course, Peter will be able to rejoin us in the studios. While we wait for him, let's take a message from the African Townhall Online Television, so that from there we can move forward afterwards. While we expect that Peter will be able to rejoin us to continue this exactly very powerful discussion here, conversation on his young life and the great successes he's had attained, I think we need to be clear about a number of things. Peter has been a focused man. He started dreaming very young and he kept his dream alive. And then he started looking for what to do and took deliberate actions. He said something now in his last comment before his internet situation went off, that he had dreams and then he started looking up information and then started connecting with people. So networking and looking for information. On the African Town Hall Online Television, we have one belief that there's a lot of information contained in books. Because of that, we created the African Town Hall eBook Club, which we just have some information about. We invite you to make time to search for the African Town Hall eBook Club. We have a website, which is www.theafricantownhall.com/ebook club. When you visit that ebook club, you will find opportunity to access all the books you need in this world on any subject at the cost of the bottle of a peanut. So for as low as 500 naira a year, you can be a member of this ebook club and access at least 4 books each month. And also, joining makes it possible for you to receive mentorship from us. If you listen to Peter earlier today, you will understand that mentorship is such a powerful thing. You need to be mentored. He himself, very young, was able within 1 year to mentor over 200 people to become chartered accountants, just like himself. So why we brought Peter here is to see how we can replicate, recreate, and create more Peters around here. Only 18. He's a chartered accountant. He's just 20. He's already working in one of the 4 biggest accounting firms in the world, KPMG. Everyone knows KPMG is a household name. You can only get into these kind of organizations with your talent, with sharp dreams and passion for what you're doing. Viewers, we know that you're coming. We can see you on the counter, and we appreciate your presence in this. We want you to indicate that you're here each time you arrive. If that's all that you did, that will help the cause. But we also want you to ask questions on generally things on your life, your project, your plans, your education, so that Peter might, when he returns, will be able to respond to those questions for us. And then that your question can become the cause of another program, which we can do here because you asked the question. Now, one of the things we like to do with African Town Hall Online Television and in conversation, the program Conversations in particular, is to bring people who have dreams, who have passions for certain projects, people who have achieved some success, people who are on a hustle, who are achieving success, those who are pursuing a course with integrity, with principles, with philosophy of life, with moral values. If you know that you have these kind of qualities, contact us. We would like to have you speak and share your values and your philosophies with other people to inspire them. That's why Conversations on African Town Hall Online Television is set up. So we see you are viewing. Please leave a comment. Tell us why you're here. Ask a question or tell us what you feel about what is being said and some of the things that Peter has shared with us today generously. Okay, hopefully Peter will come back, but if he doesn't, while we are waiting for him, let me share with you something critical that we think should inspire all Africans. This is important. These are programs that we have for you. Every day in the morning at 6 a.m., we hold the daily transformational messages on the African Town Hall Online Television. I'd like to share with you these program details so that you can join us next time. By tomorrow morning at 6 a.m., we'll look out to have a chance to be We are glad to have Peter back with us. We are sincerely happy that he could return back to the studios. This is a good sign. Before Peter came back, we were trying to inform you about daily transformational messages from Francis Meribe, which is shown at 6 a.m. every day. This is prepared to help you begin your day with some transformational messages that will help you convert the experiences of the day to your transformation. Because we believe on African Town Hall Online Television that you cannot be the same person you are and then hope to achieve success. Every stage of success turns you into a new person. In other words, you have to transform, you have to overcome to become, which means transformation. So we invite you to be with us 6 a.m. every day so that you can learn one or two things in a short video message that is from Francis Meribe, that's from me, on your personal transformation. Um, Peter, welcome back. Do you have a finish up what you started before we move to
So,
the next question?
so sorry, sir. I think it was network. So,
Yes, that is
basically,
good.
I stopped at when I started networking with certain top personals in KPMG via LinkedIn, because I believed I've done very well. I have the qualifications, I have what it takes to work in KPMG. So yeah, I um I networked with them, and then because they accepted me into KPMG, so there was nothing like Godfatherism. It has always been God, and then my networking skills and trying to reach out to so many persons as much as possible. So I think that's that with that question.
Thank you very much. I think I like Peter's principle, and we can call this Peter's principle. What helps is go get information, network, and stay close to your God. So we can call this Peter's principle of success. And if it's on record, anywhere you use it, remember you are using Peter Justin Akpan's principle of success. And he's someone we should watch for. He's someone we can follow. I mean, chartered accountant at the age of 18, dreaming to be an accountant from the age of 7, became at 18 chartered, graduated shortly afterwards, and is in KPMG. Boy, his principles must be working. So information, networking, and God. Peter, I like that very much. Thank you.
So thank you, sir.
Okay. Um, it on in the African Town Hall Online Television, we believe that for one to begin his or her life properly, have a meaningful life, and to have real and enduring success, he or she needs to have strong foundation based on the right philosophy of life and values. Okay, so what are your central philosophy of life and values? I mean, it looks like what you have already said, but you can expand that for us.
Okay, so generally, anytime I want to discuss values, philosophy of life, and everything, I always like taking the 6 word story from a woman I really, really cherish. I met her online, LinkedIn especially. I've mentioned LinkedIn a lot. LinkedIn is where I be. LinkedIn is a very great social media to meet people of of like minds. So she kind of was part of a webinar I attended, and then she mentioned a 6 word story: believe and push, everything is possible. Those words have been my guiding principle. I adopted it as my own philosophy of life too, and value. So believe anything you want to achieve, believe it. It always starts from belief. If you don't believe it, it will not happen. So you have to believe that yes, it is possible for you to achieve this. And then after believing, you try as much as possible to push. That is hard work, be hard working towards that thing you want to achieve. And then just have it in mind that anything you want to achieve is possible. Anything, everything is possible. So believe and push. Everything is possible. That's my philosophy of life. You can do anything you want to do as far as you put your mind towards it and you work hard towards it, and you expect of the challenges or failures you may face along the line. You just keep on pushing, and then you will not relenting efforts, and then definitely it will come to pass.
Wow, this is awesome. There's this powerful saying that is popular all over the world that there is a miracle when you believe. So believe for you, for Peter, it is believe and push, and everything is possible. That is very awesome, very awesome. Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate every bit of this. I'm getting highly educated myself, and I hope that our viewers are taking away so much. I'm making my notes. This might become a different thing altogether. Peter, thank you for being here.
My pleasure, sir.
Okay, okay. So, what is your own take on the saying that readers are leaders, and a reader today is a leader tomorrow? And the saying that is credited to Napoleon Bonaparte, which says that, show me a family that reads, and I will show you a family that controls the world. What's your take on all of this?
So I didn't mention when I was in secondary school, I was a library prefect, and then as a library prefect, I got to do a lot in the library, and then there were these posters, in the library to motivate people to read, and then one of the posters had that saying, "Readers are leaders." I think that was the very first time I got to hear about or get to see or hear about that saying, "Readers and leaders." But and it's actually true. A leader is someone who has so much information. You cannot achieve what you want to achieve without information about that thing. And to have information, you have to read. So whether you want to go into academics, or you want to get into entrepreneurship, or want to develop your talents, whatsoever you want to do, you have to have information. And you can only have information, or most times you can have information through studying, through reading, and through personal development. Even the Bible said, study to show thyself approved unto God. So you have to study. So readers definitely are leaders. If you want to be a leader in whatsoever you do, you have to be well informed. And then reading is one of the major ways of getting informed. So yeah, that's basically that statement is very, very right. And I agree with you. You cannot be a leader without being informed. So information leads to good leadership. Yeah.
Oh, wow. When you say this, I cannot get a feeling why we have a lot of problems in Africa. It looks like our leaders are not reading. Or, in fact, I don't call them leaders, I call them rulers. You know, if you check the word rude, to me, rude, which is RULED, I take it to be rubbish leadership. So rulers are, people who rubbish leadership because they are not leaders. Okay, and you have said something so powerful. If you want to be a leader, you really need information, and information is gotten from study, from reading, from learning, from knowing. So I think we can see part of the problem we have in Africa. We don't. I don't think our leaders, sorry, our rulers, I don't think they are reading. If they are reading, they will probably become leaders. That's my own opinion. Nobody should go for Peter for that. If you want to do anything against that, you can come for me. Thank you. All right. I think your life has shown that this statement is a truism. Um, Leaders are leaders, and leaders are leaders, and a leader today is a leader tomorrow. And if you have read so much and know so much, you have the power to control the world. Not with guns, as you have it in most African states, which is unfortunate. Okay. So the next question for you, Peter, in this conversation that is getting exciting for me is, what books have you read in the past that impacted your life positively? And what impact did those books have in your life? And what books are you reading right now? So, three-pronged question. One, what books that have you read which impacted your life? And what impact did they have? And what books are you reading right now?
All right. So because of my busy schedules in school, I mostly, especially my first level in school to my rather 100 level to my 300 level, I really invested my time in academic books. But then after becoming a chartered accountant, I had more time to myself. I started investing in other books. A major book for me that was given to me as a gift, and I really appreciate that book, is Talent is Never Enough by John Maxwell. That book is great. It's yeah, it shows or teaches people that irrespective of the fact that God has given you a talent, whatsoever that talent is, it's not enough. You still have more to do to build on that talent. You cannot just have the talent and you think you want to be successful with that talent. You have to build on that talent for you to produce good results. So the book talks about believing in yourself, believing in your talent, being focused, persevering, not relenting efforts, creating good relationships with people, and all of those. So many good points from those books. So after reading in that book, especially, Talent is Never Known by John Maxwell, I got to know, okay, even if I'm a chartered accountant and I have potentials in me, I still have to build those potentials to get to where I want to get to. And, networking skills and every other thing I need to do, I have to be focused, I have to persevere, I have to have courage, I have to believe in myself, I have to practice, I have to prepare myself for whatsoever comes up, because definitely success when opportunity meets preparation. So you have the opportunity and you're not prepared, you'll not be successful. So you have to be prepared ahead and all of that. So that book is a great one. I really, really recommend for anyone to read it. Talent is Never Enough by John Maxwell. It's an old book, though. I'm pretty sure so many persons have read it. So currently I'm reading a book titled The Richest Man in Babylon. It's also a very, very, very old book, but then it's a great book when it comes to finance. Richest Man in Babylon is a book that helps people build good personal finance, how to manage your expenses, your incomes, and the rest. Now I'm in the corporate world, so I'm kind of working on any salary, so I have to know how to manage my finances and invest, for a better future. So I'm currently on that book, and so far so good. I've learned a lot on personal finances. Yeah.
Oh wow, that is awesome. That is awesome. Okay, now something like onto it in pursuing success and living your life is that we believe here in African Town Hall Online Television that failure is part of success. We know that nobody actually becomes successful who have not failed on something before. We know that mistakes and failures are for those who are actively doing something, and that only such have a chance for real success in life. So, can you take a moment to talk about times when you have failed or made some costly mistakes and how you were able to bounce back and still attain the success you have today?
So many people usually ask me this question, Peter, from your life story, it seems to have success, 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 success. I know without you. Now the thing is that people, of course, we have failures, but then people don't like discussing them and all of that. But then life is both about success and failures. We can't do without them. So there have been challenges, there have been failures, but then of course we're not allowed those failures to stop us from achieving our success. So the very first one I would like to point out is when I primary school and then I was about to enter secondary school. I was 9 years old then. So my parent, there were two schools my parents chose for me because where I resided, I think those two schools were kind of the best schools around to get good education, good secondary school education. So at the age of 9, at that time, it took me to write the entrance exams of these two schools, and then I failed. I failed the first one, I failed the second one. It was quite painful, and so I had to go to a school that's not really up to standard, a school that will accept me because I couldn't pass the entrance exams of those first of those two schools. So I did my junior secondary school in another school out of the current situation at that time. But then I didn't take it upon myself that I'm a failure or whatsoever. I still try as much as possible to do best or do great in academics, irrespective of the school I found myself. So after JSS3, of course, the school, like I said, wasn't really a good school in terms of quality education and the rest. So after my JSS3, my parents said, okay, I should try and go back to one of those good schools, where I initially failed their entrance exams. So at this point, of course, I had written the junior YX, so I had certificates or rather results that would usher me into SS1 in that new school. So in that first school, I initially failed one of the exams. So on getting to that school, I got into the school. I didn't have to write any exams then. But then, just as God will have it, that was the same class. The people I met in the class were the same people I wrote entrance exams with, in JSS1, of course, but they will not know me, So I knew, okay, this is the same person that wrote entrance exams because I didn't tell anyone that, okay, I've been to this school before and I failed and I'm back and all of that. So, but then as God would have it, I was the best in my class from SS1 towards S3, and I became a school prefect of the same school I initially failed the entrance examinations for. And then I graduated from that same school as the best commercial student among all my peers, and then going to university. So that's one. So far, I'm just 20, so I've not really experienced life so much. I'm just a recent graduate from school, but then so far that has been one of my major, um, failures or challenges or something. But then the story is that I, came back stronger, and then I even performed better than the so-called persons who had passed the entrance initially. I mean, probably at that time I wasn't really prepared for school and all of that, but then I worked stronger and then came back into school. And then even the university, there were a few times I had bad grades, and then it was demoralizing and all of that. But then I still, I was still encouraging myself that yes, I could still get a first class, and it happened. I got the first class. So I think basically this one's for now. But then the truth is that life is both about failures and successes. But what matters is how we bounce back and and then try to be successful irrespective of our failures. If I don't tell people that I failed my entrance exams and just, well, no one will know at all that that happened. But then it is what it is.
And this is awesome because in spite of all of that, you didn't just bounce back. You became the best graduating student in in the commercial subject area, and then made first class in your university. That is a powerful bounce back, Peter, and this is encouraging. Okay,
Thank you,
let's
sir.
get out a little bit out of that area and bring you to Nigeria or Africa. So here is the challenge. Africa is bedeviled by bad leadership of people who have passed their time, while Europe are led by young and 21st century ICT compliant leaders. 90% of African countries are ruled by old people who range from 70 to 90 years, men who have no connection with modern technology. Now, Peter, if there are magic bullets for curing leadership failure in Africa, what, in your opinion, would those bullets be?
Well, although I don't like discussing the Nigerian politics because it's somehow, when you look at it, you don't have any choice than to cry and weep. But then I
Yeah.
feel it's not really about the age bracket, of leaders. I really feel it's about the person it's himself. The US is governed by presidents who are very old. President Donald Trump, was an old person, in his 70s, and even this current president, Joe Biden, in the 70s, and he did very well for United States of America. And we also mentioned some other countries where, their leaders are also old people per se, but then they are doing very well. So I think it's on the person, not really whether it's going to be if a young person or young people rule Nigeria will be better. I don't think so, because even looking at the universities, the students' union governments, and the rest, you get to see, okay, there are young people that are actually in charge of the SUG, the student union government, of universities, but then they still amass so much funds to themselves. I heard about a story of someone, I think the secretary or president of the Nigerian National Student Association or something, who amassed close to hundreds of millions to himself, and he was barely about 20, was it 27, 28 or there, but I can't remember his age. So it's not really about if you are young, you're going to do well, or if you're old, you're going to do worse or bad or whatsoever. No, I think it's the person himself, that would have to it's a person that determines what kind of leader that person will be, irrespective of the age. So I think for us to have good leadership in Nigeria or Africa as a whole, people really have to change their mindset that you're not getting into office to amass wealth for yourself. I think that is just the idea with Nigerian politics. That's why we say it's a do or die affair. So much, struggles just to become a president or governor or senator or whatsoever, because the interior motive is to get there to amass wealth for yourself. Leadership is service. Is you're a servant. That's what leadership is. If you're a president of a country, you are a servant to the citizens of that country. You're a governor of a state, you're a servant to the citizens of the state. That's how it should be. So you're providing services or service to to the people. You are a servant to those people, and of course, with our taxes, that's what we are using to pay you your salary. So indirectly, it is the citizens that is paying you salary. So you're working for the citizens. But then, that idea of leadership is no longer what it is in Africa. People now think being a leader means you're now a dictator, you're now a god, you can do whatsoever you want to do, and you're there to take money for yourself, for your family, and then that's just it. So if I should say, just like you said, magic bullets, it will involve a lot of cleansing and changing our orientation to what leadership is. So I think that's just it for me. People have to change their orientation that leadership is a service. You're providing a service to the people. You are a servant to the people, and not a dictator or someone who have to amass wealth for yourself or your family. So that's it for me.
Oh, I think you made a great point there. What you just said agrees so much with what Kelechi Ochulo, who we interviewed on our recent African Leadership Conference, Problems and Prospects. Recently, he said that actually the problem with Nigeria or the rest of Africa is not actually corruption, that the issue is the person, like you said, and it's about poverty of ideas and of morality. So if these people are morally strong, and that's what you're saying now, if the person is reoriented to the purpose of leadership, we will get it right. I think that is great. Thank you very much. Okay, my dear friend Peter, we are rounding up this interview, this special sweet conversation that I'm having with you. I hope that our viewers are going to get as much fun of it as I am getting. Um, the final question thought I would like you to share with us is, using your philosophy, your life, your values, your experiences, your successes, your failures as basis. So, what are your final ways at this particular interview for the rising generations of Africa? What final ways do you want to give to them? They want success. Some of them are not getting it. But then, what would you like to share with them from drawing from your own experiences in life?
All right. I would like to say this. The young people of Africa, the rising generations, and all of that. I want to say this. Um, Everyone born into Earth was born with a purpose. But then the time frame in achieving this purpose is different for everyone. Someone may look at me and say he's been lucky, God has blessed him, and all of that. He's started at the age of 18 and the rest. He had good parents who funded him his what is it called? His school and the rest is lucky. Probably that was the time frame for me to achieve my successes, determined by God. But that does not mean if you're not achieving your successes at an early age, you will not still achieve your success later in life. Just like I said, everyone is destined for greatness and everyone is destined to achieve a particular purpose in life. But then the time frame is different. I may be destined to become a billionaire at the age of 30 or whatsoever age, and then you may be destined to become a billionaire at the age of 50 or 55 or even 60. We are both billionaires. It's just that my time frame was different from yours. So I want people to, rather than look at other people, and then think whether they are doing well or not. No, they should not do that, but rather they should focus on their personal ways. Life is personal. Your success is personal. It's just for you. No one really bothers, or cares whatsoever you are doing or whatsoever. It's just for you. Your success is for you. So focus on yourself and believe, yes, your time is coming. Put in all the work and the rest, and believe that, yes, your time is coming. So if Mr. A is doing this at this particular age and then you've tried it, it didn't work, still go on and, put in, try again until it's your time for you to achieve that particular success. So my final words for people is that you can achieve anything you want to achieve in life, but then just try as much as possible to be blinded to other people's successes and focus on yourself. It's not really how far you go, but then how well you go. You understand? So it's not just at what age did you accomplish this particular thing, but then how did you, and how did you accomplish this particular thing? So, for example, if you look at the richest man in the world, for example, Bill Gates has been on that position for a very long time, but Bill Gates got or became the richest man, in the world, or at that position at an old age. But look at Elon Musk today, few years ago, he was the richest man in the world, and he's just 49. But both of them are richest men in the world. You cannot say, oh, Elon Musk is better than Bill Gates better than. Both of them have tasted that position. That's what matters. No one really cares at what age they got it. They are both richest men in the world. So focus on yourself, do all you have to do, hold on to your God very strongly, put in the hard work and believe in yourself that whatsoever you put your mind to, you can achieve it, and then wait on the Lord. Of course, when it's your time to achieve whatever you want to achieve, is going to be very, very huge for you. I did not say this. Let me just say this. I didn't dream, or plan to achieve what I've achieved so far. It's just the Lord's doing. I never thought I'll be a chartered accountant today. Just like I said, initially I thought I'll do ICANN after university, but then I got to do it before, finishing university. I didn't think I'll get into one of the biggest four accounting firms today and all of that. So it's just the Lord's doing. God has planned for all of our lives. So we just have to pray, let the will of God, be done in our lives, and then focus on yourself. Don't look at other people. Focus on yourself. I keep telling people, if people were blind to other people's successes, everyone will be happy. The reason why some persons feel depressed that they're not doing well in life is because they are seeing what other persons of their age are doing. And irrespective of the fact you may think they are doing well, they will start feeling, oh no, I'm not doing well. My age mate is a millionaire, is a billionaire, is in the US, in the UK, he has cars, he has this. But if that person was blind to the success of other people, he will rejoice and be glad that he's actually doing very well. So, of course, you cannot be blind to the success of other people. We have eyes to see, but then just have this mindset that you're running your race for yourself and not for any other person. And then your time is coming. Wait for that time. When that time comes, you're going to be so surprised at what the achievement is going to be. So I think that's my words for young people of Africa.
Thank you so very much, Peter. And I'm glad that you repeated that your principle again. I was going to say, hey, maybe your principle is that simply find your way to believe, keep pushing, and then connect to your God. These are Peter's principles of success, and they work, and I agree with them. So, young people, rising generations of Africa, especially, but everyone who is viewing this program, this has been some candid discussion with this young man who has already established himself as a signpost to inspire other people. And I like what he said. Other people's this thing shouldn't be your problem. If anything, the only thing you should take from what other people have done is to be inspired by the fact that they have done something great, by their service, not what they have. So those are great words you have said. My dear friend Peter, you are young in the physical sense. One friend of mine visited my home many years ago when my son was just about 5 years old or so. I mean, no, 3 or 4 years old, like that. And the young man entertained him. This man is a senior lecturer in the University of Calabar. By the way, I finished from the University of Calabar too, and you must have seen
Oh
on my
wow!
profile. Okay, so and the man said, "Your son is just young, but he's an old spirit. So you are an old spirit brought here to the world today to inspire people." Thank you very
Thank you,
much for
sir.
sparing time to do this, Peter. We appreciate you very much. You have a great weekend now.
You too, sir. Thank you.
Thank you and goodbye.
Thank you, sir.
Mhm.